People say to me, oh, you gotta be crazy. How can you sing in times like these? Don't you read the news? Don't you know the score? How can you sing when so many others grieve? And people say to me, what kind of fool believes that a song could make a difference in the end? By way of reply, I say a fool such as I sees a song as somewhere to begin. A song is somewhere to begin, a search for something worth believing in. And if changes are to come, there are things that must be done, and a song is somewhere to begin. And people say to me, oh, you've gotta be crazy. How can you dream in times like these? Don't you read the news? Don't you know the score? How can you dream when so many others grieve? And people say to me, what kind of fool believes that a dream could make a difference in the end? By way of reply, I say a fool such as I sees a dream as somewhere to begin. A dream is somewhere to begin. Search for something worth believing in. If changes are to come, there are things that must be done, and a dream is somewhere to begin. People say to me, oh, you've gotta be crazy. How can you love in times like these? Don't you read the news? Don't you know the score? How can you love when so many others grieve? And people say to me, what kind of fool believes that love will make a difference in the end? By way of reply, I say a fool such as I, who sees love as the right place to begin. Love is somewhere to begin, the search for something worth believing in. If changes are to come, there are things that must be done, and love is the right place to begin. And a dream is somewhere to begin, and a song is somewhere to begin. Welcome everybody to Spirit and Song. Gonna sing an invocation for us. Our wisdom awakens, our memory returns. Within these open hearts, a sacred fire burns. And the way is simple, the way is clear, the way is humble, the way is here. And may the fountain within my being be ever flowing, pure, life-giving to all. And may the fragrance blossoming from my soul be softening, enlightening the hearts of all. And may the world I weave with the breath I breathe bring beauty, bring beauty. And may the steps I walk on this sacred earth be in peace, be in peace. Our wisdom awakens, our memory returns. Within these open hearts, a sacred fire burns. And the way is simple, the way is clear, the way is humble, the way is here. I'd like to begin with a land acknowledgement. Take a moment to think about the sacred land beneath you, all around you. I'm on Abenaki land. If you're on stolen land, you might want to take a little moment to acknowledge that. So my name is Reverend Simon Ruth de Voil. I am a musical, interspiritual, interfaith minister. I am alumni of One Spirit. If you are not part of One Spirit and you've come to Spirit and Song, welcome. You're very welcome here. This is a place for people of any faith, tradition, or none. I'm Scottish. I was born and raised in Scotland, but I live in the Green Mountains in Vermont. And today I would like to talk with you a little bit about the sacred island of Iona, because I was just there. I've just been in Scotland for a month, and it's very fresh in my heart and close to my prayers. So I thought today I'd take you on a little journey. And so some of you perhaps have been to Iona. So let me show you where it is on the map. Here we are. So this is Scotland. It's a wee island off the west coast, and that's it there. It is 3 miles long and 1.5 miles wide, and it's Scotland's holy island. You can't see that map clearly, but it's got full of Gaelic place names. There's so much living history on this wee island. Here's some images of Iona. There's an abbey there, and it's been the site of Celtic Christianity before the Benedictines, and then there was nothing for a while, and now there's a community that I used to live in. I used to live in that abbey above those cloisters. There's one high hill. It's 300 foot, which is 100 meters. It's not very high. And Iona is surrounded by incredible beauty. It used to be the island of the Druids before Christianity arrived in the year 563 with Saint Columba. And it's well known as a place of deep and abiding peace. That photo I took in 2006, just before sunset and the summer solstice, I think it was about 10:15 at night. There you can see the rebuilt abbey. It was a Benedictine abbey, and Dunee, the high hill behind. So Iona is a place of legend and pilgrimage and peace, and a lot of the songs that I associate with Iona are about a deep, deep peace of this living earth. So, and just before we jump into the song, there's a ruined nunnery as well, which is a beautiful place, open to the elements, and there's birds' nests in the walls, and it's very, very special. And the colours seep into so many things. This is my crockery, which, as you can see, I'm holding it the wrong way up, is the Potter Gordon really beautifully captures the colours and the beauty of Iona. So here's a song that speaks to me very much of Iona. You're welcome to sing along. This actually is from Guatemala. The peace of the earth be with you, peace of the heavens too. Peace of the rivers be with you, peace of the oceans too. Deep peace falling over you, God's peace growing in you. Peace of the earth be with you, peace of the heavens too. Peace of the rivers be with you, peace of the oceans too. Deep peace falling over you. God's peace growing in you. Peace of the earth be with you. Peace of the heavens too. Peace of the rivers be with you. Peace of the oceans too. Deep peace falling over you. God's peace growing in you. Peace of the earth be with you. Peace of the heavens too. Peace of the rivers be with you. Peace of the oceans too. Deep peace falling over you. God's peace growing in you. One more time. Peace of the earth be with you. Peace of the heavens too. Peace of the rivers be with you. Peace of the oceans too. Deep peace falling over you. God's peace growing in you. Now, when I was there, the puffins were not there yet, but they arrive usually in late May, June. So I was just on Iona for a couple of weeks. This incredible sacred island that has so much living history on it. And I'm going to show you another video about Iona. This one was made by my friend Gordon, who, when I lived on the island in 2006 to 2008, was the postie. And he's a very talented photographer, and he recently made this video. Let me find it for you. It's up on YouTube. I can give you the link if you email me. So, why did I go to live on this holy, holy island, the island of Druids that then became the place that Christianity leapfrogged into Scotland from Ireland? Well, I went to live there because in the Abbey is a modern community, a Christian community, and they were the most open-minded Christians I'd ever met. I actually met them because they have another retreat house on the next island, and they brought my LGBT youth over and gave us pretty much a free holiday back in 2001. And this was a time that there weren't all that many Christians reaching out beyond to welcome the queer community. So my wife at the time wanted to run one of the retreat centres on the Abbey, so I went with her, and it was quite a stretch for me, actually, to share my faith, my disorganised, non-religious, open faith with these people in that Abbey that you see there. And when she got the job, I thought, great, I'm going to go and be an organic gardener, and I'm going to meditate on the island and learn about nature. And my ancestors are from this area, actually. I'm a MacCallum on my mum's side, MacCallum, follower of Columba, who is the saint associated with Iona. And when she got the job, they said that I had to come and live in the community too and lead worship. And I thought, I don't know if I can do that. I'd taken communion maybe once in my life, and I've always been very much an interfaith person. But I decided to go and live on this island, and that's where I received my calling. And I had a deep awakening to the sacred as in the living earth, and that we are, as John O'Donoghue would say, ambassadors of this living earth. Adam and Eve means living clay, and how so much of the landscape where we live and the living history, good and bad, births itself in us, and that we belong to this earth. So that's core tenets of what I share as an interfaith minister, and I try and take this beautiful landscape that we're looking at here. That's the island of Staffa, which is just up from Iona. That's Fingal's Cave there that Mendelssohn's Hebridean Overture was about. I try and take this beautiful landscape and my relationship with this earth that sees me and knows me and welcomes my footsteps, and take that out across the ocean to, well, to Vermont and New York City and all the places that I go. And I think the best way that I can share that is in presence and in song. So I'm going to jump away from the video. I know you probably don't want me to, because there's beautiful cinematography of the island of Iona, but I'm going to do it and take us into song here. So let's absorb this beauty deep into our being. This is by Peter Mayer. It's called Breathe In. It's actually a body prayer, so if you're welcome to get up and stretch this, or stay in your chair and do the motions that the words describe. Hands open to the day. Breathe in, breathe out. Hands joined as if to pray. Breathe in, breathe out. Arms reaching to the sky, then circling around down to the earth. Eyes lifting to the light, to the light. Hands, branches catching rain. Breathe in, breathe out. Then rising like a stalk of grain. Breathe in, breathe out. Arms reaching to the sky, then circling around down to the earth. Eyes lifting to the light, to the light. Hands open to the day. Breathe in, breathe out. Hands joined as if to pray. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. So this deep peace that so many people talk about with Iona, we're going to sing the deep peace blessing at the end. I want to share that song with you as we say goodnight to one another. But this deep peace of Iona, I think is quite disarming, and people don't realize there was a lot of bloodshed and atrocities that happened on Iona. And in my own life, I experienced quite a strong betrayal and let down while I was there. And Iona holds it all. And what do I mean by this? Like, one of my favorite beaches, if I jump back to one of the videos here, the first one with the map. Let me get rid of the map. And we'll jump into the photos. There's a bay that I think I have a picture of. It's right next to there. Nope. I'll show the bay next to it. So just to the left of where that beach is there's a place called Martyrs Bay. And it was a bay that looks very similar to this, where all the boats would come in and out of the island. And in the year, I think it was 1795, the Vikings found this little island where Celtic Christianity had blossomed and gone out from, like the monks went to northern England, they went all over Scotland, they went back to Ireland, they even went up to Iceland and Greenland. And it was a very vibrant place and an important place, and they had riches. And the Vikings discovered this in 795. And in the year 806, on the beach, right next to this beach, there was 86 of the monks, including the abbot, were slaughtered on the beach. And I've thought about this a lot, because why were there so many of them slaughtered? Well, hospitality is very important in the Celtic tradition, and in many spiritual traditions, hospitality is central. And there's stories about the monks welcoming in guests down from the shore, and I believe that the monks went down to welcome in these boats and then were all slaughtered on the beach, because otherwise they would have run away. There's later stories of smaller numbers of the monks being killed on the beach as they tried to flee to safety. And eventually the monks left and took their valuable possessions with them and went back to Kells in Ireland. So there's bloodshed and horror on the sand, as well as the deep peace. And I remember when I would sing the songs of peace, like the one I shared earlier, there were people who would come up to me in the Abbey and say, "You have to record that." My first album came out of the fact that people would grab me and say, "You must record this." And there was something about those people, which was they had all experienced tremendous sorrow. And they were receiving a blessing, a balm in the music, in this place. So the deep peace of Iona is almost like a resurrected peace, or a healing of wholeness that brings us back to wholeness when we've been shattered. And I think that that's really important for this time where there's war and a lot of fear and panic. There's so much anxiety after COVID, and then with Ukraine, it's almost palatable in the air around us. And rather than opting out of conflict and trying to go to a virgin nature, no, we sink deep into this nature that holds all of it, and we belong to it, and it strengthens us. And I've chosen some songs that hopefully will speak to that, starting with one of the Psalms. This is an interpretation by Nan Merrill. One of the things that I learnt when I lived in the Abbey was it's incredibly healing to pray with the Psalms, especially if you sing them. The sparrow has her place in the rafters. The swallow raises her young in the nest she has made. Live and move easily in their places. They flit and soar around your world altar. They are home, but it is not so easy for me. I long for that ease of being and pray for the grace to live in the world as at your altar. Happy are they who live in the pilgrim way. They walk through desolate landscapes and find your springs. They toil through mountains and discover your peaks. They set themselves to the tasks of love and service and know deep satisfaction. One day lived in this grace is better than 1,000 spent at our own devices. When we walk our appointed path in peace, we find our home and our way. Amen. This next one is it sounds more like a children's song, but for me, it holds together with it that same leaning into our birthright of original blessing. That's one of the teachings of the Celtic monks, the ones that were slaughtered by the Vikings. They had a strong message of reading from the big book of creation as well as the wee book, which was the Bible, the big book of creation, and that we are not born into sin, that we are born into blessing, that this world is good and that we belong to this goodness. And that's a message that I didn't know growing up. And many people that I meet don't know that. We feel abandoned on this alien planet often. And it's not true. We're not abandoned. We're not on an alien planet. We belong here. We belong to this earth, and we belong to one another. So I invite you to sing with me about that just now. This is by my friend Adam Rowland. He's about to record it. So you can't find it on the internet yet, but soon you will. You belong to this body, you belong to this earth. You belong, you belong, you belong. With all of your dignity, all of your worth. You belong, you belong, you belong. You belong to this family, to this tree of life. You belong, you belong, you belong. There's nothing no one can do to untie these ties, 'cause you belong, you belong, you belong. And you're not the worst thing that you've ever done. You're not the ways you think you might be bothering someone. You're not better than, less than, or equal. People are people. 'Cause I belong to this body, I belong to this earth. I belong, I belong, I belong. With all of my dignity, all of my worth. I belong, I belong, I belong. I belong to this family, to this tree of life. I belong, I belong, I belong. There's nothing no one can do to untie these ties, 'cause I belong, I belong, I belong. And I'm not the worst thing that I've ever done. I'm not the ways I think I might be bothering someone. I'm not better than, less than, or equal. People are people. We belong to these bodies, we belong to this earth. We belong, we belong, we belong. With all of our dignity, all of our worth. We belong, we belong, we belong. So there's a few things about my time on Iona that I'd like to share with you. The first one is a little bit about that belonging. There's, you're not the worst thing that you've ever done. I am not the worst thing that I've ever done. And that's a very difficult lesson sometimes. And there's a wonderful teacher of this, and it's St. Columba. So St. Columba, I've got this incredibly tender picture of him here. If you were at one of my previous Spirit and Songs two ago, we looked at this picture, which is by the same artist, John Duncan. That's Iona again in that picture, but we're not going to talk about that picture today. We're going to talk about this one, which is the legend of St. Columba and the horse. So St. Columba, he was quite an entitled young man who came from royal blood, and he was in Donegal in Northern Ireland, well, northern part of the Republic of Ireland, and he trained as a bard and a monk, and one of the things that the early Christian monks in Ireland and had was writing. It had been an oral tradition. This was outside. Ireland and Scotland were outside of the jurisdiction of the Roman Empire and outside of the jurisdiction of the Roman institutional church. The form of Christianity was a much more melding of the Druid way, the pagan way, and this new Christian story. And this guy here, St. Columba, he thought he was the bee's knees. And he went to an abbey called Maville Abbey. And while he was there, he was learning how to make these illuminated manuscripts, these writing, the magic of a pen that we take for granted. The incredible beauty of that. The monks and probably nuns, we don't know about that because it wasn't written down, but the monks and nuns would spend hours and hours in their scriptoriums, their libraries, copying scripture, and they made it really beautiful. And Columba learned to do this at Maville Abbey. And St. Finan noticed that he was making a copy, perhaps, of the Book of Psalms, and said, Columba, give me that book that you're making. And Columba said, no. And a huge fight broke out, and the king's court was called, and the king's court decided that just as each cow owns her calf, each book should own its copy. And Columba wouldn't give it back. He's a young man at this point. In this picture here, he's an old man, but in the story, he's quite young still. And a huge battle ensues because he refuses to give the book back. And 2,000 of his kinsmen are slaughtered and die. And 2 years later, Columba arrives on Iona. Now, there's lots of stories about that. I believe he was banished and that he was forced to go. He arrived in the year 563, supposedly on Pentecost, with 12 of his followers. And I think he arrived on Iona as a very broken person who had made a horrendous mistake that thousands of people had paid the cost for. Now, why do I think that? Well, the stories talk about how powerful he was, how he banished the Loch Ness Monster, and how he had competitions with the Druids, and how he had this strong voice that sounded like a melodious lion. But there's all sorts of stories also about his tenderness for the creatures. There's a crane that he asks to be treated as a royal guest that's washed up on the shores of Iona. And also this story of the horse. It's the last day of Columba's life. And the horse that brings the milk pails to the abbey notices and comes over to Columba and lays its head on his chest, and tears form and pool and wet the robes of the monk. And supposedly it paws at the ground, knowing that the great man is soon to be gone. And one of the teachings of St. Columba is to pray until tears come. And I think that he's a great symbol of starting over in a world where sometimes we make terrible mistakes and atrocities happen, and to carry that living memory and convert it into compassion and kindness for all beings. So that's one of the stories that I've been thinking about as I've been visiting Iona. And the other one is about this. So I don't know if you guys are up for using the chat, but if you know what this is, write it into the chat. This is the Book of Kells. So the Book of Kells was started about the year 800 on Iona. It was the Book of Iona. And it's this amazing illuminated manuscript. It is the 4 Gospels. And there's ink that they got from all over the world. The kind of blue colour, the indigo colour, I think was worth the same value as gold. And the original cover was a gold as well. And actually, the book in its history got stolen and ripped out of the cover. The book was thrown into a bog, which was later found, thank God. And the thieves went off with the gold cover and the first few pages and the last pages. The Book of Kells is this incredibly intricate, illustrated word. Here's a close-up of it. And they've identified 3 hands on the writing, 3 scribes, and then a bunch of artists. And it's very, very human. It's got mistakes in it, a number of mistakes. And a lot of it looks like the page on the left, which is beautiful script that's coloured in and with these beautiful chapters at the start. It's in Latin. Now, why am I showing you this? I'm showing you this because it's become a real inspiration for me, the Book of Kells has, around how to respond to the big book of creation. We call this living earth. We call her, in the Celtic Christian tradition, the big book of creation. And to respond to that beauty with human beauty. As Rumi said, let the beauty you are be what you do. And how do I go about that? How do I make my ministry beautiful? How do I make my social justice work beautiful? How do I respond to the environment with beauty when there's so much human ugliness? How do I respond to war with beauty? We're going to look at that, and we're going to go into a reflection on that just now, and then a bit of silence, and then afterwards, if you all would like to share, you're welcome to. There's not very many of us gathered, which is kind of nice and intimate. Means that it's easier to share. So I'm going to take my guitar down, and what we're going to do is I'm going to sing you a lovely Scottish song. I didn't have time to learn the music today. I tried, but didn't manage to magic that. I'm going to sing a song that I think sinks into the big book of creation and asks us to respond to this living earth, like the way the Book of Kells does. And then we're going to go into a chant about beauty, and then we're going to have about 5 minutes of silence, and then afterwards I'll bring us back out and we can share any insights or thoughts that have bubbled up. So as we go into the song, here it is. If any words shimmer for you, just take note. And I'm going to explain, because there's a few words in here you won't know on the last slide. What are they? Macher, in the fourth line there. Macher is a beautiful grassy beach. Up front, it used to be the seabed, and now is an area where crops grow. And a silkie, I don't know if you know that, but the silkies are these half seal, half people. So I think all the other words you'll be able to pick up. Enter the wild with care, my love, and speak the things you see. Let new names take and root and thrive and grow. And even as you travel far from heather, crag and river, may you, like the little fisher, set the stream alight with glitter. May you enter now as otter, without falter, into water. Look to the sky with care, my love, and speak the things you see. Let new names take and root and thrive and grow. And even as you journey on, past dying stars exploding, like the gilded ones in flight, leave your little gifts of light. And in the dead of night, my darling, find the gleaming eye of starling, like the little aviator. Sing your heart to all dark matter. Walk through the world with care, my love, and sing the things you see. Let new names take and root and thrive and grow. And even as you stumble through Macher sands eroding, let the fern unfurl your grieving. Let the heron still your breathing. Let the silky swim you deeper, oh my little silver seeker. Even as the hour grows bleaker, be the singer and the speaker. And in city and in forest, let the lark become your chorus. And when every hope is gone, let the raven call you home. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Beauty, 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 beauty. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Beauty, 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 beauty. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love be what you do. I invite us to enter into 5 minutes of silence. dear ones. Wondered if you all would be interested in sharing some of what you've been observing or pondering as you listen. If you'd like to do that, you can. You don't have to, but if there's anything that shimmers for you or that you like to share, you're welcome to raise your hand. I don't know if people can unmute themselves, David, or not, or whether you have to do it for them. Yeah, you may unmute yourselves. Just wondering if there's anything that's landing deeply or unsettling. It doesn't need to be a happy landing.
I could say something.
No, please do, Leanne. Yeah.
That last line of the was it the song before, "When all hope is gone, let the raven take you home."
Mm-hmm.
That really got to me.
It's a powerful line. Let me get that up for us so that we can all have a look at it. And when every hope is gone, let the raven call you home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When you say got to, do you mean it broke your heart a little bit?
Well, I think about death a lot, and that seems to. I feel like when all hope is gone, you might as well not be alive. There's nothing
Mm-hmm.
left, and it's kind of nice to think of the raven taking me home.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
that'd be a good way to end. So just my thought.
I love it. Thank you for
Just
sharing.
say it, then
Uh-huh.
type it.
Uh-huh.
Simon, I found myself thinking about the story of the beach and the slaughter on the beach, and of course it's so hard not to keep seeing the images of the suburb of Kiev with the bodies lying in the streets. And it brought to mind a passage from a writer named Terry Tempest Williams that I think we actually sent out as our daily reading from One Spirit just a few days ago, that says there is a deep beauty in not averting our gaze. No matter how hard it is, no matter how heartbreaking it can be, it is about presence, it is about bearing witness. And the image of sand, the image of the natural world, holding all of it, that the side by side, the incredible, incredible beauty of the natural world and the heartbreak of the way some human beings are able to go against that natural order, that recognition of the sacredness of all of life is heartbreaking and needs bearing witness to, not to exclude the beauty, not to forget the beauty, but to be able to hold all of it. And there's a very short poem by our friend Rosemary Watola Tromer that says, "The sweet nectar and the bitter pollen, all the honey."
Mm-hmm. Yes. I was thinking about Ukraine very strongly as we created a labyrinth on that bay where all the comings of going of the island had been, and I think it was in the forefront of everybody's heart, which was here we are on this island of peace. well, there's not very far from us. There was increased jet activity above our heads. And God holds it all. God holds it all. All of it. And we kind of fracture, Diane, I think. I think that we get overloaded and we can't bear all of it. And I really think that the contemplative tradition is just about opening your heart to all of it, just as you were saying. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like you've been to that beach. You got it clearly. Does anybody else have anything that they want to share that's bubbled up or that they've noticed? Yes, Elizabeth.
Oh, thank you. That was so beautiful. I was just overcome with gratitude for the beauty of the earth and nature and everything we see. I feel so terrified about climate change and how the earth is going to be, and the beauty and the amazing world that we inherited that is disappearing. And it was just lovely and beautiful to sit with the gratitude and to remember Iona, because I have been there. And I'm sure I wasn't supposed to, but I did take away one of those beautiful little pink pebbles, which is one of my treasures. But it was nice just for a second to hold the gratitude and the fear of what's going to happen to the earth together.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to see the Book of Kells on that tour, and they were online somewhere, and we never got to see them. Maybe another time.
Maybe another time. Yeah, I resonate with what you're saying about holding the beauty and the fear. They don't cancel each other out.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Got time for one more sharing if anybody would like to. Or not. Oh, yeah, Joyce, please share.
Hi, Simon. So good to see you. And I'm glad you had a beautiful time in Iona. And thank you for bringing it back to us. It felt like I went there with you tonight. The words of the lyrics, walk through the world with care, my love, and sing the things you see. And I can see that's what you're doing. And it's just so beautiful to get this window into your world. And I appreciate that. And I just was a latecomer to your workshop on joy, Diane, and I worked through the book with my book club, the Book of Joy, and I could see the pillars of joy in everything that you shared tonight. The suffering, the gratitude, and finally he ends up, with service being, the big gift, and let the beauty of love be what you do. And that to me embodies the big meaning behind how it all comes together and brings joy. So it's like a transformational process where, they said before, where it all belongs. So thank you.
And alchemy, huh? Transformation, yes, beautiful, thank you. Yeah. Hey, it feels right to move into prayer now. That's what I'd scheduled for us to do, but it really feels right to do that. So I invite you to hold in the very center of your being, in your heart space. And it can help when you pray to have your hands on your heart, to feel your breath, to feel your life force, but also it helps to bring attention if we're touching our heart. And I'm going to focus on some words for us, if I can find them. And we'll sing this prayer for the world. With beating, grateful and broken hearts. This is a lorica. It's a Celtic blessing where you place the sacred all around yourself or in your imagination all around the person, the house, the country. So this comes from St. Patrick's breastplate, and he uses the word Christ, but I know that word isn't resonant for everybody, so we're going to use the word love. Love with you, love before you, love behind you, love in you, love beneath you, love above you, love on your right, love on your left, love when you lie down, love when you arise, love when you take rest, love to shield you, love with you, love before you, love behind you, love in you, love beneath you, love above you, love on your right, love on your left, love when you lie down, love when you arise, love when you take rest, love to shield you. And we'll sing it with peace one more time. Peace with you, peace before you, peace behind you, peace in you, peace beneath you, peace above you, peace on your right, peace on your left, peace when you lie down, peace when you arise, peace when you take rest, peace to shield you. I've got this prayer that I'd like to close with. It comes from, I think it's called The Book of 1,000 Prayers, edited by Alison Pepper. And the original is Lord, but we're going to say it with you who witness. You who witness our darkest place, let in your light. You who witness our greatest fear, let in your peace. You who witness our most bitter shame, let in your word of grace. You who witness our oldest grudge, let in your forgiveness. You who witness our deepest anger, let it out. You who witness our loneliest moment, let in your presence. You who witness the truest self, our all, let in your wholeness. Amen. And the smoke carries the prayers to those that need it this day. Time for this calls for great prayer. So thank you for gathering for Spirit and Song to hold this heart prayer together. Before we go, I'd like to sing Deep Peace and invite you to keep your camera on if you're willing to send a blessing to one another. Henry's listening on the conference call, so he's not able to wave at us, Henry, but everybody else, I invite you to, as I'm singing the deep peace blessing, to send out light and love, and David will spotlight you. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the child of peace to you. And moon and stars pour their healing light on you. La 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 la. La 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 la. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the Son of Peace to you. And moon and stars pour their healing light on you. La 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 la. La 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 la. Be well, everyone. People say to me, oh, you gotta be crazy. How can you sing in times like these?